In this video, I'll take you through the ultimate on-page SEO checklist. From content and URL optimization to understanding orphan pages and OG tags, this is meant to be a helpful resource you can follow when working on websites. You'll also get access to the templates I use today, but I urge you to stick to the end for maximum benefit. Coming up next. Welcome to Software Shuffle. This is the place where business owners and savvy marketers come to learn how to use AI, SEO, and content to build profitable online businesses. As an SEO specialist, I've had the chance to work on and help numerous websites grow their organic traffic and take the business to the next level. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, consider subscribing to the channel. Alright, so let's get into the checklist. We'll get started with the content optimization section. So once you come to the checklist, you'll see that this is split in several sections. So we have the content optimization, metadata optimization, URL and tech optimization, so on and so forth, okay? Then we have points under these sections, okay? So let's first get started with the content optimization checklist. Now, the way this works is very simple. So we have the items here, then we have the description for what this is, what needs to be done. Then we have the status. So this is the initial status when we are actually checking the pages or checking these different items. We need to go ahead based on what we see or analyze. We need to select whether it's okay or it's not okay. If it's okay, we'll select this check mark. If it's not, we go with this X. And then once our team starts working or once we start working on this document, we can go ahead and work around this after status section. So for example, if you're working on any one of these points, we can mark this as in progress. This is done. So if you're working on this point, we can mark this as in progress. Once it's done, you can mark it as done. Okay. You can also, you have this place over here to add in some notes or some, you'll be using a lot of different sheets and stuff. When you're working on a website, you might, export all these different types of documents. So you can add those documents over here. But then this is how this checklist works. It's quite similar to, the other checklists that I've shown you in the past. So we get started with the target keyword placement. Okay. So the first thing is in the content optimization is to make sure that we have the target keyword placed in the right section. And what is that right section? So is the primary keyword placed naturally in the first 100 to 150 words. Okay, you want to make sure that the primary keyword or the target keyword is mentioned in the first 100 to 150 words. Okay, so essentially in the first paragraph and the heading. So if I bring you to one of these articles, so this is Car Concierge Pro. They are car brokers, so they help you rent a car, lease a car, buy a car, and they operate mostly in the United States and Canada. Okay, they're actually ranking for a number of different keywords, and they're getting traffic on a number of different pages. Now, this is one of the posts that has been getting a lot of traffic, and they are ranking for actually a long tail keyword. Okay, so you can just assume what the keyword could be just by looking at the heading. So this is the H1, and the keyword for this is car leases under 200 a month. Okay, so this is a long tail keyword, and if I just do a Control F and a Control V, you'll see that the keyword is mentioned around 7 times. Okay, so we can see that it's mentioned in the H1, also in the first paragraph. Okay, so it covers the first point in this checklist. So we'll go ahead and mark this as okay. Next, you want to check for the keyword density. So we want to make sure that the keyword is adequately spread throughout the page. So it mentions, does the target keyword appear with an optimal density? Typically 0.5 to 2%. Okay, so this is the typical density that we want. It can be lower, it can be higher. And the important thing to note is without keyword stuffing. So we don't want to stuff the keyword just to increase the density. Okay, that's a no-no. We want to include the keyword naturally where it makes sense, but also making sure that it's there in all the important places like the heading, the paragraph, and all these other sections. That being said, how do we calculate the keyword density? So if I come back to this page, you'll see that the primary keyword is mentioned around 7 times, but there's other variations of this keyword. Let's just say it's mentioned around 7 times. Okay, as of now. So we'll just copy this. Okay, and I know that there's around 1,000 words on this page. You can very easily go ahead and find that information by running a crawl and screaming frog. Okay, I won't do a walk through a Screaming Frog. I'm pretty sure many of you know how to use it. If you don't, by the way, there is a video. I've done a video on Screaming Frog. You can find it on my channel. That being said, how do we calculate it? So the way the calculation for calculating the keyword density is done is by dividing the keyword, the number of times the keyword is mentioned, by the words into 100. Okay, so you open your calculator up quickly. So it's mentioned around 7 times, right? We divide it by the words. So let's say it's 1000. Okay, and then we multiply it with 100. Okay, so 0.7 is the density. Okay, so we come back to our document. 0.522 it mentions over here. We have 0.7, which covers it. Okay, so it passes this test. We'll mark it as yes again. So next we want to make sure that LSI keywords are included. So our semantically related keywords, LSI keywords, used effectively throughout the content. Okay, so an easy way to do this is through the help of a tool. Now there's many tools you can use. There's Neuron Writer, very popular. Surfer SEO, again very popular. But I like using ScaleNut, so you can try this out for free. I'll leave a link in the description, and I've also done a video on how you can use ScaleNut to effectively find LSI keywords and then incorporate it in your content. Okay, so this is the video. You can go and check it out. All you have to do is add in the keyword, paste in the content, and then it'll show you the LSI keywords, the ones that you've included, again, the frequency of those keywords, and the ones that you should be including. Okay, so I won't go into too much detail into this. I'll just go ahead and mark this as done as of now. Okay, next we have the content length. So is the content long enough to cover the topic comprehensively? Typically 1000 words plus, but this is also it will vary, depending on the keyword that you're going after. You need to study the SERPs, analyze the SERPs, the top 5 pages, and maybe go for an average of, the words included in those top 5 pages. But as of now, this article is ranking in the top positions and it does cross 1000 words. So I think we are fine on this front as well. I'll mark it as okay. Next, we have content uniqueness. So this basically means that you need to make sure that the content is free of any type of plagiarism, and nowadays we have a lot of AI generated content, so you need to make sure that the content is unique. Now how you do that, there is a process for it. I've covered it in some of my previous videos, but I will be making a dedicated video showing you how you can create really unique content. Okay, but as of now, I'll just say that you can use tools like Copyscape, Grammarly, and all these other tools to make sure that the plagiarism is low. You want to keep the plagiarism low, even if there is, there's AI content. Everybody's using AI content now. That's still fine, but you want to make sure that it's not plagiarized. Okay. That being said, this article, since it's ranking already, it's probably unique, right? So I'll go ahead and mark this as okay as well. Now you need to go into a lot of detail, especially when you're working on a new website. Now, the SEO for this website is done. The SEO is really good. The graph is going up. As a matter of fact, if I just show you, in Uber suggests this an extension you can download. So you can see that the graph is going up. The traffic is not that much, but it's going up. Okay, so it's improving, which is how we want our websites that we are working on. We want the graph to improve. Okay, that being said, we'll take a look at the next point. So we have informational quality. Okay, so this is again related to this point up over here, whether it's unique and it contains, informational, valuable content. So it does. That's why it is ranking. Now, ranking is a very important indication that the content is doing well. Okay, if the pages are not ranking, then you need to go into more detail into finding out why these pages are not ranking. And most of the time, it is 2 reasons. One is that the content is not good. It doesn't satisfy the intent of the keyword. And second is that there's just no backlinks. Okay, backlinks are important. Okay, it's very easy. SEO is content and links mainly. So it's probably one of these 2 issues that is the reason behind the page not ranking. Okay, so as of now, as I showed you, the page is ranking. I'll mark this as okay as well. Next, we have engagement factors. Okay, so are there elements that encourage user engagement, like polls, comments, or call to actions? Okay, so this is another important point, especially on the pages that are getting traffic. Okay, So this page, for example, is getting traffic. Now we scroll down. Do we see any type of engagement? We want to have call to actions. Most importantly, above the fold. So essentially one button over here. Then you scroll down. There should be another button somewhere over here, So after so you see over here, there is a call to action option here. So get your car leased today. And then there is a call to action. So they have included call to action, but it's not very frequent. Okay, so we want to make it frequent, especially on the pages that are getting traffic. Okay, so this is actually a no. They would have to work on including few more call to action elements throughout the page. Okay, next we have readability. So you want to make sure that the page is readable. It's not using too complicated words. So Felsh writing. Now, if you're using WordPress, you'll have, Yoast SEO. You can check the readability score in that, or you can also find it in Screaming Frog. Okay, so you have this Felsh reading. As a matter of fact, why don't we come back to this page, copy this URL, okay, come back to Screaming Frog, paste it here, and then try to see the readability. Okay, so the readability, it shows as normal. Felsh reading is 66. Okay, so it's fine. It's not too difficult to read. Okay, so we can come back to our checklist and mark this as okay. Next, we have the heading optimization. So are the headings H1, H2, H3 is clear, engaging, and keyword rich. Also, another point to mention is that whether these headings are following a logical chronology. So ideally we want H1, H2, then H3 is below that, H4, so on and so forth. So we'll go back to the page and check it out. Okay, so we have a H1 over here, H2, I think this is H3. So I'll just use this Ahrefs extension. Okay, you can get this, download it for free, add it, and then this can be really helpful when it comes to studying the content structures of web pages. So we have these H2s over here. There really is no H3s, and these are mainly names of cars. So I think there could be improvement over here. So I'll just go back and I'll mark this heading optimization as no. Okay, because there is room for adding some H3s, and I've seen that does help. Okay, if you have H3s under H2s that are logical, you include some LSI keywords, some, related key phrases, it does help. So I would want to make sure that it does have, some additional headings with some, LSI or closely related secondary keywords. So I just mark this as no. Coming down, next we have multimedia uses. So our images, videos, or, all these different media elements used to complement the text. So has images been used? So we have no images over here. Okay, so by following this checklist, you can essentially enhance the content that is already performing well, or the content that is not performing well. Of course, this is going to help in that as well. Okay, so quite a comprehensive checklist. So as you can see, that this page doesn't have any media elements at all, no videos, no images. We mark this as no. So next we have the metadata optimization. So whether we have the meta titles and descriptions on point or not. Okay, so getting started with this, first we have the title tag. So does the title tag include the target keyword and is under 60 characters? Okay, so for this, again, we can use a tool, Screaming Frog. Scroll down, and then meta title and description we can see over here. So description is here, title is here. Okay, so the title length is 48 characters, so within 60 characters, and it does have the keyword as well. So we want to come back and mark this as okay. Next we have the meta description again, whether the description is compelling, has a target keyword, and is in between 150 to 160 characters. Okay, so again, we want to come back to our Screaming Frog. Scroll slightly to the right. We have the meta description over here. So 140 characters. And again, it does have the primary keyword in it. Okay, so you can see over here, car leases under 200 a month, no money down. Come back to our document, mark this as okay as well. Then we have unique meta tag. So does every page have a unique meta tag? Because a lot of times, we might just copy and paste a meta, and this is, common for, I'll say, a lot of e-commerce websites, a lot of large like hospital websites where you have a lot of pages. So you just copy and paste and just replace the primary keyword or the primary service. But we want to make sure that now, since we have AI and it's easy to generate a ton of unique meta titles and descriptions, we want to make sure that every page has a unique meta title and description. Okay, so for this website, I've checked, whatever I've checked, they do have unique meta titles and descriptions. But again, this is a quick walkthrough. Whenever you're testing or running this checklist through any website, you want to study every page in detail. For that, you can very easily use Screaming Frog, export the data from here, and then you can analyze each page, all these different elements like meta title, meta description. Does each page, qualify and have, all the necessary things that is necessary for it to rank. That being said, we'll come back and we'll mark this as yes as well. Then we have the open graph tags. So our OG tag set for optimal social media sharing. So the OG graph tags essentially enhances the media or the way your posts and pages are displayed once they are shared in social media. So we'll come back to our post, and I recommend you get your hands on this extension from Ahrefs. It's free to install. And then you can come down to structured data, socials, and then you'll see that we have the OG tags over here. Okay, so we have the image over here, which will probably be the feature image. You can see this in a new tag, and this is the image that will be displayed when we share it in social platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever. Okay, so we have the OG tags also. I'll mark this as yes. Next, we have schema markup. So is structured data, FAQ structure, review structure. So basic structured data implemented, which helps in better visibility. So we'll go back to our article. Now, I'm doing this just for one page, but you will have to do this for all the pages in the website. Okay. So again, we come back to our extension. This is a very handy extension. We go to structured data, and you see that we have all these different types of structured data, different types of schema. So we have the basic web page. Okay, so pretty much every web page of a website that is built on WordPress will have this by default. Okay, web page schema. We also have the breadcrumbs. And we also have customized schema. So this is because this is a business related to cars and renting and leasing cars. We have the automotive business organization markup. We have the place over here person, and because this is a blog, they've also included a blog posting schema. So the schema markup is done pretty well for this site. Okay, come back and mark this as yes as well. So moving forward, next we have the URL and tech optimization. We'll come back to our checklist, and we have this section over here. The first point in this is whether the URLs are SEO friendly. Okay, so generally we want the URLs to be short, descriptive, and also to include the target keyword. Okay, so we'll come back to our page. So this is the page that we're using as example for this checklist. We'll zoom in. So I'll just show you the URL. So this gives a better view. So you can see that we have the URL here and then the slug. Okay, so this is what we are talking about. Generally, we want this to be anywhere from 3 to 5 words. But since this URL is already encompassing the keyword, okay, I think that this URL is fine. Okay, car leases under 200 a month, no money down. Okay, so this URL looks fine. So we'll come back to our document and mark this as yes. Now, by chance, if you're working on a website and you see that the URLs of the website are, all out of place, very long URLs, not targeting the keyword, then in that case, you will have to make a separate document, something like this, in which you list out all the URLs of the pages and then one by one fix. So you, based on the keyword that page is targeting, you change the URLs and you have to then do a 301 redirect if you don't want to keep the old page. Okay, I've already made a video on 301 redirects recently, so you can go to my channel and check out that video. Coming down next, we have canonicalization. So this is another important, technical kind of a issue. So we want to make sure that every page has a canonical tag, okay? It helps avoiding duplicate content, and it actually tells Google that, okay, this page, you might have 3-4 different pages with the same content, similar content, but then canonical tags helps telling search engines that this page, say page 1, is the original page, and these 2 other pages are, just duplicates of the original. So we'll come back to article over here. Again, we'll use our Ahrefs extension. Then we'll go to the indexability tab, and then you can see that we have a canonical URL over here. So the URL that we have for this page is the canonical, and it's self-canonicalized, okay? Self-canonical, which is the ideal situation. So I think this is fine. We will move on and mark this as yes. I will make a separate guide on canonical issues to explain to you in detail what are the different issues that can happen and how you can go about fixing them. But as of now, this page does not have any canonical issues, so we mark this as okay. Next, we have the 301 redirect. So are all broken pages or all URLs redirecting using 301 status code? So as of now, we saw that this page is fine, but then for you to check the broken links, which is essentially the 404 pages, you can again come down to your Screaming Frog, okay? You go in HTML, you have all the pages laid out over here. Then you go to response codes, and actually you can check it from this tab here as well, okay? So you have the client error 404 page, okay? So we have just one page that seems to be a 404, but this looks like a WP content subdirectory page. Let's see what we have in the 301 redirect. So these are the 301 moved permanently. So I think this is fine, okay? The pages that were all broken previously or had a 404 have been kind of redirected. So there's a 301 to these pages, and there doesn't seem to be any 404 broken links. So we are fine on this front as well. Again, I've created a dedicated guide to 404s, 301 redirects recently. You can go to my channel and check out how you can actually use a very easy to use plugin within WordPress to redirect your pages. Moving forward, we have our XML sitemap next. So whether the website has an XML sitemap and whether it has been submitted to Search Console. Well, I don't have access to their Search Console, but I can go ahead and check whether they do have an XML sitemap or not. For that, I'll just come to the URL and type in sitemap.xml. They probably have a sitemap, because this is a website made on WordPress, and you can see that they do, okay? So these are these different sitemaps. We have the post sitemap here. If you open this in a new tab, you'll see all the posts, the pages, landing pages, okay? And as you can see, this is created by Rank Math. So they're using Rank Math. Come back to checklist and mark this as yes. But if you have access to the Search Console, you do want to check if these sitemaps are submitted to Search Console or not, okay? And it's actually recommended to submit these sitemaps regularly. I mean, Google crawls on a regular basis, but you can submit the sitemap once a month, or once in 2 or 3 months. It just helps with, crawling the newer pages faster. Mark this as yes. Robots.txt is the robot.txt file configured to allow search engine crawling. Okay, so now this is another thing. We'll just go back to the website and again zoom into the URL, type in robots.txt. Okay, so for the ones who didn't know, robots.txt is a text file that actually allows and also has the capacity to disallow certain agents, so web crawlers that actually crawl these web pages. Okay, so we can see over here they have a very basic to the point robots.txt file, the user agents. So this means that they're allowing all the user agents, all the bots, or this is referring to all the crawlers that will be coming to the website. Disallow, so they've just disallowed the WordPress admin page, and they've allowed this particular page, but then this means that they have allowed pretty much all the pages to be crawled. Okay, they've also included the sitemap over here, which is also a recommended thing that you should do. So robots.txt is also on point. We'll come down and mark this as done. Moving forward, we have the mobile friendliness. So whether the page passes the Google mobile friendly test. So you can just go ahead and put these URLs for whichever website you're testing in page speed insights. Okay, and then it will analyze the core web vitals and then give you a score. So you can see, as far as the mobile is concerned, it passes the test and it has a pretty good performance. 80 is considered quite good, especially for mobile. SEO is on point and they're doing everything pretty well. Desktop is also pretty good. We can see the performance is 97. There's always room for improvement, but then, this is pretty good if you compare with the other websites. A lot of big websites, you'll see that are getting a lot of traffic. You'll see that the performance is terrible, but somehow they keep getting traffic. Okay, so you don't have to be too technical about this. If you're getting a decent score like this, it's fine. So we'll come back and mark this as done as well. In case if it's not fine, then you will have to talk to a developer. You need to have a developer on your team, or whichever company. If you're working in an agency setup, you'll have developers in your team. You can just forward them the link to this this test, and then they can figure out things, what is lacking and what needs to be updated. That being said, we'll move ahead to the next point, which is page speed. So does the page load up fast enough? So for this, we'll go ahead and use GT metrics. Very commonly used tool to measure the speed. As you can see over here, we have the grade is A, performance is outstanding, speed is pretty good. Okay, so speed wise also this website is doing quite well. Mark this as done. Now see, we have all these, most of the items you see on the checklist, the status that you can see is marked in green. But when you're working with a new site, that probably didn't do SEO for a long time or was never done SEO, most of this is going to be red, okay, like you see over here. Okay, so that's one thing to keep in mind. Next we have is whether the website is using an HTTPS, so whether it's using an SSL certificate. So we come back to the website. Okay, we just come back to the home page, let's say, and then we will zoom into this, and you can click on this over here, and then it will say the connection is secure. Okay, so it is using a SSL certificate, and you see this HTTPS. If it was just HTTP, then in that case, we'd have to go ahead and enforce the HTTPS, but this seems to be secured. So we'll come back to our checklist, mark this as yes as well. Last point in the URL optimization is whether the URL parameters are on point. So our URL parameter structured in a way that doesn't create duplicate content. So this is again coming back to the first point that we had discussed. If you are creating pages and then the URL for those pages based on the keywords, and ideally you want to target one keyword per page in your website. So in that case, if you're doing that, then each page will have a unique URL. So in that case, there's no chance of, having any type of duplicate, URLs in that place. So if you just follow the first point, then this will be fine as well. Okay. So I'll mark this as yes. Now I'm going through this checklist, as fast as possible because it's a 50-point checklist. If I go in too much depth, then this video could be like 5 hours long and nobody has that much time. So I'm just, going through it as quickly, as briefly as I can. Next, we'll move to image optimization points. So we'll come back to our checklist. We have an image optimization. And then the first point is whether the image files have descriptive file names. Ideally, we want the image files to have the keyword that is being targeted. Okay, so for example, we come back to the website. We take any one image. Let's go with the page that we were checking out. So we have this image over here, right? if we open this image in a new tab, and if I zoom in to the URL, for example, you'll see that first of all you have the URL, and it's we can see the WP content. So this is the subfolder where the image is at, and then we have the actual file name. So car leases under 200 a month, no money down. Okay, so this is actually a pretty good file name. So this is the thing that you need to keep in mind whenever you're uploading any type of image to your website. You want to make sure that before uploading, you actually appropriately file that image. Okay, in this case, because this was a blog that they were going after, they made sure that they've included the primary keyword in the in naming the file, which is actually a good thing. And the way you can do that, you can check is of course by going to WordPress, but you can also come over to Screaming Frog and go to the images tab up over here, and then you'll have a look. You can take a glance at all the image files over here. Okay, so as of now I think this is fine, but then see, again, whenever you're doing this, you need to check each and every element, each and every page manually. Okay, as of now I'll mark this as yes. Next point is whether the images have all text. Okay, and whether the image files have are within the recommended. So generally it's recommended for images to be below 100 KB. So again, we can check that by going to Screaming Frog. We have this tab over here, so you can see any missing all text. Images with missing all text will show up over here. As of now we have none, which is a good thing. But then we have quite a few images that are over 100 KB. Now, if it's too much, like this, for example, right? This is, if you can see, I'm not sure how well you can see, this is 500 KB. So this is quite big, okay? The other one over here is 700 KB. So we don't want these images. If it's ideally 120, even up to 200 KB, it's not much of an issue. But we don't want the files to be this big. So we'll have to go back to our checklist. All text is clear, but file size, there's some work required. And you can actually add some kind of note over here, like few images need to be compressed. Okay, so you can add like a note over here when when you start working on fixing these issues, you'll know what the actual issue was. Next, we have lazy loading. So our image is set to load only when visible on the page to improve performance. So basically what this means is that images only load up when they are visible on the screen. Okay, so this is very easy to do. Again, if you're using WordPress, you can download the lazy loading, there's Smush, there's a lot of different plugins that you can install and activate lazy loading. But since I don't have access to the backend, I'll just leave this as blank for now. Next part of this checklist is checking all the internal linking issues. So we come back and we go to the first point, which is checking the anchor text. So our internal links using keyword-rich anchor text. Now, when it comes to internal links, what I generally do is export all the URLs, mainly of the blog pages, of the service pages, any other important pages. So you can, again, very easily go ahead and do that in Screaming Frog. Just come to internal HTML, okay, and then you can export this. So you will have all the pages. And then what I like doing is then segregating the pages. So this is, another example of another website that I'm showing you in this video. But then I'll show you the work that we've done for one of our clients, which is Garg Aviation. You can see that this is the internal linking document for them. And the process we followed for this was, first we have the course page. So essentially this is going to be the service pages. So, they are a pilot training academy. They sell, pilot training courses. So private pilot license, commercial pilot license. From there, we have a central pillar post. Okay, so the service page, course page, whatever they're selling, from there we want to have a centralized pillar post, a long 2,000, 3,000 word pillar post for each of these services. And from there we want to have also some other supporting posts. Okay, and then we interlink. So for example, this example is the private pilot license course page. From there, we have the pillar post, which is how to become a private pilot. From there, we have supporting posts. So what is a private pilot? Course fee, how to get a private pilot, challenges of becoming a private pilot. So all these different supporting posts, and then we interlink them, okay? And once we have this squared out, we can then select appropriate anchor text as well. So this is more of a manual, more manual work you'll have to do when it comes to this. There's ways of automating it these days, but I still prefer following this process because then, the results are just that much better. So I'll just come back to my document, anchor text and relevant links. Okay, so I'll just go back to the website to show you that these guys, I noticed that they don't have any, the internal linking is not on point. So they don't have any. This is like the page that's getting some of the, quite a significant chunk of the traffic, but they don't have any type of internal links over here, which is very surprising. They just have one over here, which I guess is leading to the home page. Yes, but apart from that, there's no other internal links. So they will have to work on the internal links. This is a no. And our next point is relevant links. So our links related to content provided to. So again, no internal links over here. So I'll mark this as no as well. So next we have often pages. So is every important page linked from at least one other internal page? Now often pages occur when pages are published, but they are not linked to or linked by any other internal page in the website. Okay, so what this means is, so I'll just show you with the help of a small diagram. I'm not sure if it's clear. It's quite blurry, I'm guessing. But then this is what a often page means for the ones who don't know. So you have a website, right? You have all these different pages, top level. Then you have these other pages within them. But then you also have these pages sometimes that, are not linked to the website. They are part of your website, but they are not linked to, okay? So that's what creates an often page. Now, you can very easily go ahead and use a tool like SEMrush or Ahrefs, even Screaming Frog to actually find often pages. But then I won't go into that into too much detail, but because then this video is going to be really, really long, okay? So this is not a very critical issue, but then, it's good to, check all these boxes when you're doing a complete audit of any website you're working with. So as of now, I'll just leave this as blank. Next, we have breadcrumbs. So whether the site is using breadcrumbs, those navigations, So for example, come back to the article over here. And a lot of times you'll see that, the web pages will have like home, then there's an arrow, then there's blog, then an arrow, then the this post. Okay, so this website as of now is not using breadcrumb navigation, which is recommended. It does help in improving internal linking and also then contributes to the overall SEO. So we'll just go back and mark this as no. Next we have pagination. So pagination, again, I'll try to explain with the help of a diagram, is essentially this. So you have a page, right? This mostly occurs in archive pages. So for example, blog pages, you have, if you have a lot of blogs, you have the blogs in one page, maybe 10 blogs in one page, then you go to page 2, again 10 blogs. So this is essentially what pagination means, okay? Now if we come back to the website, we go to, let's say, blogs. We'll take a look whether they have an organized pagination setup going on. Okay, so they have a lot of posts all on one page. Pretty much all on one page, okay? So I think this is fine because a lot of times you'll have, you scroll down and then you see, go to page 2, go to page 3, then you have like 10 different of these pages and, they become individual URLs, okay? So for example, if I zoom in and show you, so you will generally have like blog, okay? Then it'll be like page 1, okay? Then you go to the second page, then it'll become page 2. So these pages are considered pages and they contribute nothing, there's no SEO value. So these guys have done a smart thing by just removing all these paginated pages by just having one central blog archive. Okay, so in this regard also, I think these guys have done a decent job. So the next thing we'll check are external links. So the first point in this is whether the external links that we are linking to, the websites that we're linking to, whether they're authoritative and relevant. Okay, so again, we can come back to Screaming Frog, okay, and just go to external up over here, okay, and then you could go to your HTML. So these are all the sites, the external sites that this website is linking out to. Okay, now in order to do a more detailed audit, what you could do is export this data and go through all the links one by one and check whether the sites are actually relevant or not. Like for example, if I just open any one of these links, okay, we'll just take a quick look. So this is the tech billion car inside your pro. Okay, so it looks like this post is about, okay, redefining car ownership with seamless services. Okay, so the post is relevant, but then you might want to go ahead and check for things like, you know, whether the site is getting traffic. So okay, it looks like it is getting traffic and it's going up. It's ranking for a ton of keywords. Domain authority is pretty good. Okay, so we do want these types of external links. Okay, so coming back to Screaming Frog, sorry, let's just go back to our document and we'll mark this as okay. The next point is broken links, whether any of these externally linked pages are having any type of, you know, 404 errors. So again, we come back to Screaming Frog and we can take a look at the status code. Okay, so we have all these links here and all the status code. So 200 means that everything is fine. There doesn't seem to be any 404. There's just 301 moved permanently, but then it's moved. Okay, so that's fine. So no 404 externally linking site errors. Come back to our document, mark this as okay as well. And then we have the no follow attribute. So our appropriate external links marked with a no follow. So this is, you know, it totally depends on you. If you choose to mark certain links as no follow, sponsored, that's totally up to you. Okay, so I'll just mark this as yes. So next we'll take a look at user experience and engagement. So come back to our checklist and the first point here is above the fold content. So does the most important content appear above the fold? Okay, so this will help in optimizing for conversion. So we'll come back to the website. Now this is an article. So we want to go to one of the service pages. Okay, let's go to, let's say, car leasing service. Okay, now we can see that this is the service page, but there isn't much content above the fold. There's just the heading, no content, no call to action button. So we want to actually optimize this section, the hero section, that actually helps in converting, you know, the visitors. Okay, so this will actually be no. And I'll give you an example of how this looks. This is one of, you know, the clients we had worked with recently. We worked on, you know, helping them optimize for conversion. And you can see that this place is totally changed. I mean, it was something else before, but we optimized it for conversion. So this is like selling yoga teacher training courses. So you see we have a heading here, right? So become a certified yoga teacher in 21 days. Then there's some text over here, okay? Win a certificate, then the price, then a discount, then a call to action. So this is how you want to have the above the fold section, especially for the most important course pages, service pages, okay? So they don't have this. That's why mark this as a no. Next is call to action. Are there call to actions? Again, above the fold. So there is no call to action over here. So you want to mark this as no as well. Social sharing buttons. Are social media sharing buttons easily accessible on the page? Well, it's not easily accessible. Generally, we would want, you know, something, the social profiles to be displayed over here, or if it's in the footer, that is fine too, okay? So it is available in the footer. Okay, so in that case, I think it's fine. Mark this as yes. So next we have the bounce rate. So for this, I'll need access to the analytics, but I don't have access to that now. So I'll just leave this as blank. After that, we have conversion optimization. So I've already mentioned few points over here, but then basically we want to have call to action buttons, lead capture forms in strategic places. So like I mentioned, first things first is the header section. So we want to include important information, like this, maybe add a price, add a call to action button or a form over here. Then coming down, you want to add few more call to action buttons like they've added over here, the price, okay, they've added call to action buttons over here. So something like this, we want to optimize it for conversion. That's what we mean when we talk about conversion optimization. Well, there are a few more points that I'll make a separate video on conversion optimization, but then these are few of the basics. So conversion optimization, I don't know. I'll just mark this as no because there's more work that could be done over here. That being said, let's move to the next point, which is mobile optimization. Okay, so we'll come back to the website, go to inspect. You can check this on your mobile devices as well, but this is how it's going to look. So you scroll down and see, okay, the font looks fine. Okay, the call to action buttons. Let's press on this and see where it leads us. Well, it leads us to the, I'm guessing the contact page. And you scroll down, okay, we have all the pricing, the buttons. So everything looks fine. We'll click on the menu option and see. Okay, so it looks fine. It looks quite responsive on mobile. So we'll come back here, mark this as yes. Next was font. So font is also fine. And then are the elements clickable? Okay, so this is also fine. Moving forward, we'll take a look at competitor analysis. Now, for competitor analysis, we have these 3 points over here, which is the content gap, keyword usage, so keyword comparison between you and the competition, and also backlink opportunities. Now, I've covered all these points in detail, thorough detail in my other course videos. So if you come to my channel, go to playlists, okay, and go to the Ultimate SEO series. Now, this playlist is a treasure trove of SEO plus AI and SEO as well, okay. So I have the course on SEO plus ads audit. So this is informative, okay. You can learn how to use prompts to audit any website and also create a strategy for Facebook and Instagram ads. We have the AI SEO course, how you can use prompts to pretty much do everything as far as SEO is concerned. And we have the keyword research course. So this is where I actually show you how you can, do the competitor analysis and find keyword gaps and content gaps. So I won't be going into detail into this too. As a matter of fact, even into the backlink, because I've covered it in these courses, okay. So I'll leave a link to this to the playlist in the description. Go ahead and check it out. You'll find it to be very useful, okay. So I'll just mark all this as done for now, and we'll move to the last section. And in the final section, we have few other technical SEO related points. So first we have the structured data validation. So does the page pass structured data validation for rich results, okay. So for this, all you have to do is go and type in rich results, okay, and then it's probably going to be the first option, Google rich results test. Click on it and just add in the URL of the website. Then it will test and give you the rich results test snippets. After that, we have AMP if applicable. So AMP is actually not applicable on the site. And lastly, we have the Core Web Vitals, which I already showed you previously in the Page Speed Insights, okay. So Core Web Vitals also, this website is doing fine. As far as the rich results are concerned, 4 valid items detected, okay. So the article, local business organization, site link, search box. We can preview the results also, okay. So this is how it looks. Go back. We can also view the tested page. So you have the HTML over here. You can also check the screenshot of the live website, okay. So that being said, we have come to the end of this checklist. Okay, I had to go through the entire checklist, very briefly. If I took too much time and dwelled on each point, too much, then this video would be very long. As a matter of fact, this video is long anyways, but I didn't want to extend it further. Okay, so I hope you found this video to be useful. I will leave a link to this checklist in the description, so you can go and get your hands on this checklist, follow the video, and audit any website. Okay. Again, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.